Um, Thanks. Thanks for coming. I believe you are after a lunch, after a delicious lunch, so you can deserve a little bit of relax right now. And I'm gonna tell you a story, a fairy tale in the beginning, and then we'll see. Um, so I'm Jakub from Winding Tree, and we're trying to decentralize travel industry. Fairy tale first, maybe with a little bit scary ending, but we'll see. So we are back in the 1960s in the United States, and airline industry there is very highly regulated industry. What does it mean, right? That just like government is like setting up the rules. There's like very little companies, airlines who can do that because they need to have a lot of money to go through all the process, and government also sets basically the prices, so the prices are super high. And in this world, there is, for example, an airline called American Airline, and it's still like it's 1960s, right? So I wasn't totally not born. There was nothing internet. I don't know how many computers were there, but they're already working with IBM, right? And these guys at IBM, they have this system called semi-automatic ground environment, which is basically a military thing to discover bombers when they are coming and they are able to whatever react. I don't know, I don't care that much in army stuff, but they have this kind of software running on mainframes, and because they work with American, they can figure out how to use this system for civil purposes, for just like not shooting down bombers, but maybe figuring out passengers, how do they flight and everything. So this stuff, it's computers, so it's like it's difficult for everybody, and the marketing department at American Airlines, they just don't know how to work with it, and they're like, we know how to sell flight tickets, so like please don't give us like something more complicated, like we're fine. But this guy, his name was Max Hopper. He's the director of IT or whatever, and he's looking at the computers that, by the way, the company already bought. They bought the computers, they're just not using it. He's looking at the computers and he's like, this is the future. We're gonna computerize booking process, okay? 1960s, yeah. He works. He talks to all the. He's pitching the bosses, and he's talking to all the other airlines that like together they can figure it out, and they can create semi-automatic business research environment. Maybe it sounds already familiar to some of you. It didn't to me. In the year 1978, so couple years later, there came the Deregulation Act. What this means was that basically anyone can join this game of like flying and like taking passengers from A to B. Companies were able to come and like somehow apply for the routes and fly somewhere. And what this means that like a lot of new companies appeared, and they were like taking down the prices, right? It's not just a game of few companies right now. There are many. Nowadays we know that. Nowadays we know low cost carriers, right? But it was a new thing back then, and because they have such a low prices, they need to be smart. And they know that when people are buying flights for very little money, sometimes they don't show up. So what they came up with is overbooking the flight. Like if we know we have like 10% no-show, we'll just like sell 10% more, right? Sometimes it can cause troubles, especially when you don't have technology for that, and they didn't because they were low-cost carriers, right? So a lot of airlines also were forced to close down. Not only because of the overbooking, it's just not easy to operate an airline, I guess. But American, they survived thanks to this technology I was talking to you about. built by IBM, and you know, because they like work together with other airlines somehow. By the way, like IBM was selling the same solution to Delta, to Pan American. These are the names: Deltamatic, Panamac. I've never heard it, honestly, like some time ago. But it was the same solution. Some time passes. It's like we're in the year 2000. Of course, computers evolve, but you know, the big companies, they keep staying similar. But what this semi-automatic, what was it? Business research environment, Sabre. What happens to them? They separate from American, and they became independent company, publicly traded corporation, and it's just natural for them to make more money, right? To like figure it out, and because they are already set in so many big companies, they can do it. They can just like tell them, we want your money, so like pay us a lot. There was, for example, a lawsuit, again, like sometimes passes, and US Airways, which is a part of American, they had a lawsuit with them. And what was this lawsuit about is that they won the lawsuit, and it's a public information, so I'm not like telling you something secret. Seemed like Sabre company was asking that they will make the deal with US Airways only if they give them something they call in airline full content. What does it mean is that they want, like Sabre system, they want the same prices that they have on their website, for example. The same prices they will be able to use, which is a little bit tricky, right? Like, so you're telling me that I cannot sell my stuff on my site how I want, and I can give you some other prices. So US Airways, they won the case. And by the way, this full content, that's airline slang, I guess. In the hotel world, it's called price parity. In Germany, for example, it's illegal. So like, you know, interesting. If this does not sound like a problem to you, I'll try to describe it even more. So what is the problem here? Sabre, the company, is one of the GDSs, global distribution system companies. And currently, there are just like 3 big players, maybe 2 if you look at the numbers, who share the market. Sabre, 36%, Amamdeus, 42%, Travelport, 21%. And these guys, they are, I don't want to say that like they are evil or whatever, but they share similar stories, you know, like they were built by airlines, then they separate their ways, and right now they can charge whatever they want. It's natural, right? It's how I would run businesses. I have a company. In the hotel industry, it's very similar. There's Expedia, there's Booking. We all book our hotels on Booking.com, I guess. 2 big companies who dominate the industry. What does this cause is that the fees are very high. Maybe we are not noticing it because we're the customers, we're the buyers. But the airlines and the hotels, they know about it. And for example, what Lufthansa did in the year 2015, they said that if any transaction is coming through this GDS I was talking before, they will just like add some extra price because some extra surcharge because they need to survive. Otherwise, it's just like killing them. Because of these guys, maybe I don't want to blame them too much, but I think it's a problem. There's very little innovation happening because it's very difficult to be a startup and to come to like this like multi-million-dollar company and just like ask them like, I want to work with you. And they would be like, who are you? Like, what are you trying to do here? So, 0 innovation and 0 open data that we can play with. And I don't know how is it going on here and in other countries, but for example, in my town in Czech Republic, like we're fighting all the time for some open data that like developers can play with, right? Here, travel industry, nothing. This is a crowd of smart people. You all play and work with like decentralized technology, so you obviously probably have an answer for that. But we just said like this needs to decentralize. Something needs to happen here. Our solution is some kind of decentralized marketplace that will be permissionless, open source, that will allow open data being published, probably open APIs that anyone can join and like do its magic, its developer magic. And I will try to describe a little bit what we've come up with so far. Of course, it's a work in progress. It will definitely change in the next weeks or months, and maybe you will help us somehow with the development here. So what we have is a smart contract on Ethereum, and I will be describing a like hotel example because that's what we started with. We considered that tiny little bit less complex than the airline world, even though there can be a lot of gotchas there as well. So we have, let's say we have a hotel platform, okay? So we have a smart contract that is an index of hotels. You can go there, you can register your own hotel, permissionless innovation, right? On Ethereum. Then there, in this entry, we have a link to some off-chain data because we don't want the hotel to pay the fees every time something changes. Maybe, maybe things will evolve. We all wonder, where Ethereum 2.0 will be or what stuff is gonna happen. We just we're deferring that to the smart people, and we're just like technology. So right now, can you hear me? Well, okay. In this entry in the index, there's a link. There are links to some off-chain data. Off-chain means for us right now, it can be either Swarm or even good old HTTPS. Like you can store your data wherever you want. Swarm is fun, but sometimes we just run into issues. Of course, it's a work in progress. It's cool, but sometimes we need something also like a little bit stable, and it's working fine. What are there like off-chain? What do we store there? It can be a static content, like a description of the hotel, maybe some pictures and stuff like that. But also inventory, like information, what do they have available? And this kind of this data is in some kind of defined structure. I don't want to say that we are doing that we can work on some standards. We're not that big for it. On the other hand, we're talking to all the people that who are trying to create standards. But what we're also trying to figure out is maybe just put there some open semantics of the data, so we can even play with the upgrades and stuff like that. We'll see how we can resolve that. So static content, inventory, but also there is a booking link, which is a in some way direct booking to some system. I'm gonna explain you a little bit later. It's not that super simple, but because we need as many integrations as possible. This is some kind of link. Then we have JavaScript libraries that wraps everything, wraps the smart contract, wraps this off-chain adapters that we have. I've seen many of you are fans of IPFS. Maybe even IPFS adapter could be built super easy. And then we have distributed apps. We have a distributed apps for APIs. Here I have read and pricing and write and updates. Right now it's really 4 APIs, some kind of microservices, right? And why do we distinguish these guys? Is because when you want to write, when you want to update your data, you need some kind of private key management and access tokens management, right? When you're writing your data, even if you're writing your data to your HTTPS CDN storage, you need to have this credentials there. And with enterprises, it will be tricky to, figure this all out, how to do it reasonable, like how they will manage their hardware wallets, maybe. I don't know. It's gonna be fun. But this is so far what we did. That for the reading, it's easy. You don't need any credentials, but for writing, you do. And then we have a demo distributed application that is using these APIs, but you can possibly run everything yourself. And I'm gonna show you. There's a link. It's not a link, but I just wanted to make it shorter. But if you go to our GitHub account, everything is open source. Everything what we've built is open source. It's super small, I know, but there is deployments. Is it doing something? Yeah. And we have so our wiki repository is like a knowledge base where we're trying to put down all the information. And for example, in this document, we have what's our latest index address, like index contract and address. Which one are we using right now? It's of course it's testnet, and we're changing it every day because like we're working hard on this. But here is the link to the Explorer as well. And this is our test data. This is no real life, but it's like fixtures that looks like hotels. Our favorite is Hotel Mazurka here, and if I go there, I can see it's a description with a bunch of pictures, description of like what rooms do they have, test data right now, and I can even like look at some estimates. Don't focus on the UI, right? The UI is not what's important here right now. The functionality is. And I can even try to find out if they have some rooms in Hotel Mazurka. Maybe they do. It looks like they do. So I can even click it, and I can do some kind of booking. It's so many things to fill in. But this is like, this is just an example like how complex it can be. I know we have, for example, we're displaying some cancellation policies and stuff like that. Not every time it's that complex. I know sometimes you want like simple booking, right? You want just like one form, click it, and you're done. But here we are like showing that everything is possible. We are running our test booking server where all this data go, but we are finishing some integrations as we speak, like with some real life data. I'm back with the presentation. This is what we've built, and like 2 months ago there was the Ethereum conference DevCon in Prague, where I am from, even though we are a distributed team working on a distributed technology, and so it was a pleasure to have the conference there. So what we agreed on that we will do our own hackathon prior the big conference, and prior the status hackathon as well, because it's a little bit bigger project. And what happened there was really awesome, because we didn't have like only crypto savvy people, but also like regular developers and even business people from the travel industry, and people were able to work with us on a bunch of integrations. Right now I'm using some funny short PMS. It's property management system, which is the system that runs in the hotel when they arrive there, and you talk to the front desk and they are doing some magic on their computer and like giving you the keys. That's property management system. Channel Manager, it's another piece of software that is allowing you to distribute your content to the booking.com, for example, or to the GDSs, or to Airbnb even if you want. And these guys can integrate with Winding Tree right now, and that's what was happening on our hackathon. There was at least one PMS provider company, and they were working on integration. They even built another open source adapter, or not adapter, like library. Like I told you that we have a JavaScript library. They built a .NET library. like this wrapping our smart contract and adapter functionality and everything. .NET, maybe it's not that popular for you guys, but it is definitely a thing in the business world. So yeah, I'm super happy about it. And what also happened that was pretty awesome is that we have there a team from Air France KLM, their blockchain team, and what they and we set up like some stuff that people can work on. And this was one of our ideas, and they took it because they were a big team to take everything we've built for the hotels and create a fork for an airlines. And they achieved that with, like I was telling you, like the off-chain adapters and some hotel index, and they did the same thing. They basically built an airline index or an airline API index, and they created an off-chain adapter to their NDC, which is a standard that's evolving in the airline industry. We'll see where we will be in the next year, for example. And what they also did, they took data of their competitor in a different format, in a non-NDC format, and they put these data together in the same platform. So I think it was the first time when two competitors and even like competitors from different alliances, right? It's like Star Alliance and some other alliance. I'm bad with the names all the time, but they put the data together in a single solution thanks to our like Winding Tree platform. This is it. This is what we've done. This is, sorry for maybe like scaring you with like how the travel industry is monopolized, but we can fix that together. We are working with like negotiation with all the potential partners in the travel space, and we're introducing them to open source basically. So it's not that I didn't show you that fancy stuff as my colleagues before, but this is where we are, and we can, with blockchain, we can totally prevent monopolies. So if you're interested, just like come to me. And right now, oh yeah, for sure, windingtree.com. You can even shoot us an email, or you can ping me on Twitter, KVBIK, or please talk to me right now, right here, afterwards. That's us. Any questions? And I'm
Ребят, любые вопросы, можно на русском, можно на английском, как удобнее. Есть вопрос?
Well, I wish your project to succeed, because then I will be able to pay for my hotels with Ether. So that's cool. My question is, so can anybody just add their own hotels there? And if anybody can do this, how can you verify that it's really this hotel and you don't pay money to someone else who just faked like some hotel somewhere else? Yeah. Thanks.
Of course, this is a great question, and it is just obvious, right? If you create a permissionless system, anyone can join. And anyone can fake and cheat. That's what we have. We have emails and we got spam, right? So far, email is still here. So I guess there are always solutions that can be built on top of the permissionless platform that can somehow figure this out. I don't have the precise answer, like what do we want to do right now, because right now we need to put there the data and maybe even like let the fake hotels appear so we can work on this. But of course there are some ideas, and we can totally talk about the ideas like whatever, right? Like rating, and there can be even like some kind of central authority, even though I don't like it, but it can appear, right? Like again, permissionless innovation. If some people believe this is the right way, we will probably discourage them, but things like that. And of course, like yesterday at the pre-party, we were talking about like how tokens can be, you know, and our idea is also that maybe you can stake tokens in the index itself. So probably if you are a Hilton, for example, and you know that you are processing so many transactions in this platform, you will be very worried that somebody can fake you, so you can totally do some kind of stuff. Good question, of course, really.
So I have another question, because Sabre is basically a huge company with big IT department, and there's a lot of logic, like computer logic, that probably is coming when you book airline ticket, and I just wanted to ask, like, do you have any plans to make it non-custodial, decentralized, and all this stuff?
It's a difficult question. Like, of course, right now we are a team of like 7 developers and a bunch of business people where we are like talking with everybody in the industry. We cannot compete with the big guys like on the like regular level. Like I cannot be the dragon and just like go and fight with the huge dragon. What we and I don't even want to say we want to fight them. We want to like get them out of business or something like that. That does not make sense. These guys are here for a long time, as I've shown you. They have built very complex solutions. Sometimes the solutions maybe even work. Sometimes even the airlines have some troubles with the solutions. That's what they are trying to achieve with like partnering with us as well. But what we are trying to do here is to enable some kind of innovation and to enable like bottom-up approach. So I was giving an example yesterday as well. Maybe we are not fans of monopolies like Facebook or Google, but they are here. They do their job, and they rely on internet and all these underlying technologies, and they have to make sure that these technologies are there and they work. So they have to contribute back to open source, to all the ecosystem. Nothing like that, nothing like internet, a little bit more exists in the travel space. So what we're trying to do here is to like make them all collaborate on one layer or couple layers of things, so other innovation can happen on top of it. I know it's not an exact answer to your question, but something like that.
Okay, thank you.
Еще вопросы? Так, вижу, вопросов больше нет. Jakub, спасибо большое. Дикуй, if I'm right, right? Чешская станица ИП Павлова, так?
Спасибо и до свидания.